This is Real Estate Radio. The Erik Hatch team is highly motivated, innovative, and knowledgeable for all things real estate. This is Real Estate Radio.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, real estate fans alike, and just people on your way to church. Thanks so very much for tuning in to Real Estate Radio on this fine morning. My name's Erik Hatch. I'll be your host today, and I'm with Hatch Realty here in town. And if you ever want to stop by and give us a visit or to talk some shop, we'd love to see you. 1205 16th Avenue South is where we're located. That's the corner of University Drive and 16th Avenue South. So if you are over at Great Harvest Bread Company, one of my favorite places in the world, stop on over after you get a loaf and come and visit us. It's going to be a perfect little day for you. Now, at the top of the hour, I want to give a little bit of clarification because I realize and I recognize that the last few weeks, I've simply been emphatic about sharing with you that the market is hot. If you're selling your house, the market's hot. And that still is the case, but I want to share with you a couple of insights. When people hear that, they will translate that into saying, well, I can do it myself. I can sell my house on my own. And you know what? I wouldn't blame you for trying, but I got to tell you, you're going to be setting yourself up for a world of nightmares and headaches. For example, I have some friends in South Fargo who tried selling their house on their own, and as they did so, they had a number that they needed to hit. They needed to hit a net number of $300,000. And that's a tough thing to do because it was at the top of the market, and they tried for a month. And these are people who know marketing. They actually did a fairly decent job at it, but they had low traffic. And then the people who prey on for sale by owners are folks who are looking for you to finance it with what's called a contract for deed. Sometimes they're simply seeking out a deal, so they're going to beat you up on price, or they're going to come in with representation, meaning that they have a realtor on their side. So that's like going into a professional fight with somebody when you are an amateur. Now, yes, we may understand and know that we have friends and other people in the business that can help out, but my friends weren't able to sell on their own in South Fargo, so they decided instead to list with Hatch Realty, and in 3 weeks, we got their house sold for only $1,500 off the asking price. We got them the money that they needed. We got the hassle off of their plate, and at the end of the day, they ended up making more with me than they could have on their own. So when I say the market's hot with the right representation, and I think Hatch Realty can be that for you. So let's talk at 369-4839, or to find out what your home is worth, head to livefargomoorhead.com. But before we go any further with this morning's show, let's find out what's happening with real estate news this week.
By age 61, the majority of people feel free to choose where they most want to live, according to a new study by Merrill Lynch. Throughout most of people's lives, where they live is determined by their responsibilities, according to the report. Most careers demand that people live within a reasonable commuting distance from where they and/or their spouse work. However, as people enter their 50s and 60s, they begin to cross what this study reveals to be the freedom threshold. That's the age when people say they finally choose where they want to live. Indeed, 2/3 of the retirees surveyed say they are now living in the best homes of their lives. Most retirees move at least once during retirement, but surprisingly, only half choose to downsize into a smaller home. 3 in 10 of retirees decide to upsize into a larger home. The top reason to upside? They want to have a home that's comfortable enough for family members to visit and stay with them. And that's what's making real estate news this week. You're listening to Erik Hatch with Real Estate Radio.
Breaking in, shaping up. Hot diggity dog, Mr. Brian Johnson of Valley Mortgage is in studio with us this morning, and Brian and I got to golf together earlier this week. Not outside, no, at the golf simulator over in Fargo. So, Brian, how are you this morning?
I'm great, thanks, Erik.
And how did you golf?
You know, I did pretty well. It was windy out, but it didn't bring it inside.
Sorry about that. I had beans for lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. So, Brian, I have to say, before we dive in and talk everything mortgages and interest rates and that sort of thing, man, you're a good golfer. It's humiliating for me to play with you.
Well, I try a little bit, but I don't get to play as often as I'd like. So,
well, I want to point out though that you did do very well because you discovered a mulligan button at the golf simulator.
I think I only hit that twice, but you guys helped me out a little bit.
Yeah, we hit it for you a lot, but you only hit it twice. So, Brian, how's the market right now? If I were a buyer and I were to come to you and say that generic yet very specific question, how's the market?
I think the market it's quite busy. There's a lot of homes for sale. There could definitely be a lot more for sale. There's a lot of buyers in the market, though.
Okay.
And buyers, from what I've been hearing, are having a hard time getting a property. They're having multiple offer situations. They're having to go through as many as 10 homes and make offers on it before they get them. So it's a good idea to get pre-approved ahead of time, get all your options on the table, discuss if you need to have seller pay closing costs. I've heard offers are getting rejected because they don't have enough closing costs for out of their own pocket, for example. So
it's definitely to the advantage of the sellers right now. So why in the world would a buyer actually want to move on a property right now?
Well, I think there's a large number of people that need to move and are looking to get into first-time homes and move up. So there's always that.
Well, what about the people who are in a house and they're just wanting to make the move up? Is this a bad time to buy a house?
No, I don't think so. Rates are extremely low. We're at our lowest levels that we've seen in about 2 years and nearing what all-time lows are. The thing I'd like to stress is people that are looking at selling to get pre-approved before they list their house or before they actually sell their house, because I've had a few clients that didn't do that step, and now they're in trouble. They've sold their house, they've removed all their contingencies, and they've got some financing problems. And now a couple of them are going to end up having to rent until they can get that figured out.
Yikes. So, Brian, what I'm hearing from you, and again, listeners, we have Brian Johnson from Valley Mortgage in studio with us. And what I'm hearing from you is that, yes, even though prices are inflated, and maybe not inflated, but you're going to have to compete oftentimes to get a house. And even though there's not a lot of inventory out there, it's still the right time to buy because of interest rates, correct?
Correct, yes. There's a lot of push for values we think are still going to keep going up. There's a huge flux of people that are moving to the area, and there's a large number of people that are looking to sell and move up. First-time home buyers, there's a lot of those out there also. So I think it's a great time to look at buying and selling.
We talk about Warren Buffett often on the show here, and he's always talking about one of the secrets to wealth is real estate ownership. And so I don't care if you own one house or 50 houses and you're an investor, the benefits of owning are pretty huge. Let's talk numbers for a very quick second, Brian. Mm-hmm. If I have a $150,000 house that's fully financed with no specials, what's my mortgage payment going to be?
You could be anywhere, depending on taxes and homeowners insurance, $800 to $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Say.
Let's say 1,000. Let's be even numbered with that, because that's better for the
Sure.
math, the quick math in my head. So we're at $1,000 a month. Right away in year one, how much of the principal is going to get paid down each month?
Roughly about $175 to $200 a month.
Okay, we're going to say 200 again for my even math. So in addition, houses right now are appreciating anywhere from 4 to 8% annually here. Mm-hmm. So if we take that $150,000 house, let's again just use square even math. And let's say at 5%, that's $7,500 in appreciation over the course of a year that you own a house. Mm-hmm. We now have also said $200 a month. And so $200 a month times 12 months is $2,400. So now $7,500 plus $2,400 is $9,900. Did you follow that?
I did.
And what if we have a $1,000 a month mortgage payment over 12 months? What does that equal?
$12,000.
Good math. Yeah, good math. So we now have a $2,100 discrepancy between what you actually owe or what you've earned on a property, what you've paid down, and what you've invested. So rent for your house that you own is $2,100 a year. How does that sound?
That sounds pretty good.
And
not to mention your tax benefits.
Yeah,
right?
we both were going to the same place. Brian, it is the perfect time to buy because, boy, this market here is hot, and I believe it's going to continue to stay hot. So don't wait for the market to cool off. It's not going to cool off. Now's the time. And Brian, people need to get pre-approved before they do anything, and so they need to talk to you. And how can they do that?
Absolutely. Call my office at 461-8450 or visit us online at valleymortgageinc.com.
Mr. Brian Johnson, golfer extraordinaire and a heck of a mortgage lender with Valley Mortgage. Thanks for spending time with us this morning, BJ. And we will come back with just a few more things here after the break. But in the meantime, head to livefargomoorhead.com to check out all the houses on today's market. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.
Stick around. More Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch after this.
Don't survive. I was born free. I was born.
This is Real Estate Radio. The Erik Hatch team is highly motivated, innovative, and knowledgeable for all things real estate. This is Real Estate Radio.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio. As always, I'm your host, Erik Hatch, and it's time now for the Erik Hatch team's picks of the week here on Real Estate Radio. I can't tell you how great these properties are and that you don't want to miss out on. As we just said with Brian in our last segment, but the market's hot, and so don't miss out on these places because I want you to get in them and you to call them your home. Now let's start in North Fargo, 2114 2nd Street North. Yes, a North Fargo property is available. In fact, we had sold it the first day with the first showing and got a really strong offer. And then unfortunately, the buyer's financing fell through. So it just came back on the market. We're talking a Rambler with 1,600 square feet. They converted the old attached garage into a great family room and then built a 2-stall garage to boot. So we're talking 1,600 square feet on one level, perfect, wonderful North Fargo neighborhood. And for $205,000, boy, your mortgage payment's going to be nice and low. You're going to have a great, quiet street to live on, and it doesn't get much better than that. Let's stay out of North Fargo because I don't have any other listings up there. Instead, let's talk about Moorhead for a second. 4012, 2.5 streets south in Moorhead. Close to the river, so tucked away from the hustle and bustle of the busyness of town, and yet still not in the floodplain. That's a nice combination there. For $330,000, you get this beautiful 2-story home. Great yard, great curb appeal. Everything about this house is sharp, and then the basement still has a little bit that needs to be finished. So if you're looking for an opportunity to build some great equity in a house, this is really your chance. Don't sleep on this one. And last but not least, let's head to West Fargo. This house is going to go so quickly, but what we're doing is we're going to wait until tomorrow afternoon to present offers. So if you want a chance to see it, to make a move on it, go to the open house today. It's 827 Elm Park Place in Moorhead. 827 Elm Park Place for $175,000. I promise you, you're out of the floodplain over there in West Fargo, and that's pretty stinking sweet. I have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, bi-level house that you really, really, really don't want to miss out on. These are the hottest properties in town right now, and I want to give you a chance to go see it. So again, go to livefargomoorhead.com to check out this house or to head over to the open house that'll be Sunday afternoon here today. And finally, if you want your own home featured on Real Estate Radio, give us a call at 369-4839 or hit us up on livefargomoorhead.com. Okay, friends, we only have about 5 or 6 minutes left of the show, and I want to take just a brief moment of time to try and keep you as up-to-date as possible on what's happening in the market. So we're going to take more of a macro look of what's happening in the United States and then hopefully shrink it down to the things that are happening here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. What we're seeing, the national home average in the United States right now is hovering just over $200,000. I think the last number I saw was about $204,000 or $205,000. And that number is still low. That market is still rebounding. So if you understand the scope of what happened in real estate is things went hot up until 2006 nationally, and then the market crashed and places lost, 30, 40, 50, 60% of the actual value. Now, that's a pain that most of us around here don't know, and that's foreign to us, but that's not far away. Even in places like Minneapolis, they experience that kind of hit. So then we've seen a nice appreciation of properties, but if the market average continues the way it was supposed to from the history of tracking all of this to today, they say that houses should be priced between $230,000 and $240,000. So what we're seeing is there's still room for a rebound on the national market. Now we take that and bring it to here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and we've seen a constant appreciation of properties, except for 2011. We saw a 1.25% depreciation. Poor us, right? What a tough community for us to live in. Is our depression was 1.25% of depreciation. So as we look at that and we look at those figures, the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen anywhere from 4 to 9% appreciation annually. The national average of appreciation is 4.22%, and we are exceeding that here in Fargo, and we didn't experience a crash. So the question is, Are we going to burst? Are we on a bubble? And it simply always relates to a supply and demand type of thing. Do we believe that the demand for real estate here is going to shrink, thus increasing the supply? My professional opinion is that no, that's not going to happen for quite some time because of the strength of the economy here, because of North Dakota and Minnesota, both government-wise, are doing pretty well financially. And then, of course, the strength of small business and large business here in town. This is an entrepreneur's playground here in Fargo-Moorhead. And in addition, there's the juggernauts like Sanford that are building $500 million worth of industry here. And on top of that, I hear that Sanford needs to hire anywhere from 300 to 500 extra physicians. So for each of those physicians who come in making very nice six-figure salaries, how many nurses and nurses' aides and nurse practitioners and phlebotomists and cafeteria workers and custodians and secretaries need to be hired just for each physician because they bring a field of expertise. On top of that, they bring with them spouses and oftentimes children. So we're going to see an influx for the next number of years, and we're going to avoid that bubble, I believe. Now, it could come down the road, but I don't think anytime soon it's going to hit. Let's talk more about that at 369-4839 or head to livefargomoorhead.com. Holy cow, we are almost out of time. This day has flown by, and thanks for tuning in. I want to close with a couple final thoughts. Again, open houses right now. You're going to find that if you're waiting to go to an open house for your Sunday showings to take a look and see what's on the market, oftentimes the good ones are already sold. They haven't been on the market long enough for you to check out and to do an open house. That can leave you set up for some frustration, especially as a buyer. The best way for you to get representation here is to align yourself with a realtor who you think can fight for you. I, of course, would love that to be some of the good folks at Hatch Realty, but there's other great realtors in town too. But I'd love the chance to try and earn your business and show you what we can do. We're seeing multiple offer situations on houses that are priced right and houses that are marketed well. And so if you are thinking about selling, if it's even a twinkle in your eye, we should probably have a great conversation. Figure out what your home is worth in today's market, the strategy that we can put on your place so that we can see top dollar. Now, oftentimes people think that in the first day of a house being listed, we have a place in West Fargo that we listed last week. And the first day that we listed it, like 9 showings, no offers. Second day, no showings. Third day, 3 showings. We waited and did the open house to market it, and sure enough, we got 2 offers from that open house. We were able to get the sellers, even on day 4, every dime that they were asking for, which was still $15,000 to $20,000 more than they ever thought they could get on their property. And that comes with the right marketing, with the right strategy and the right approach, and Hatch Realty can do that for you. So one last time, let's talk. 369-4839, or find out what your home is worth by heading to livefargomoorhead.com. And that's it, my friends. We are out of time. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you all. My name again is Erik Hatch with Hatch Realty, and you've been listening to me on the Mighty 790 KFGO.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place yours.